The zombies will get you first.
That's right. They might. I might not be perfect, but I'm okay.
I'm a more perfect union.
That's right.
All right.
And next intro.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's find the button here. Button. Is this too much chest? I need to button up more.
That's not enough.
Not enough. That's all I got. On the beep. Beep. Welcome back to the Booth Customs channel. We are on episode 5 of our AR Optics series. It's me, John Mark, and my buddy Austin, aka the Goon Prepper. And today we're talking about the LPVO plus added a little red dot on there.
That's right.
So, Austin, since this is your rifle, why don't you take us away?
Sure. So kind of the thought process behind having a side or a top-mounted red dot is you don't try...
Sorry.
Side or top-mounted? But yeah, so the thought process behind this is you want all the perks of having an LPVO, but you don't trust your 1X.
Right.
Or, in the case of a piggyback red dot, you are contemplating doing night vision.
Right.
Because I've done both. I've had the side-mounted and I've had the piggybacked at this point. Obviously, you can see which one I prefer. But with a side-mounted piggyback, side-mounted red dot, you can't really get a whole lot of use out of night vision from it. It's essentially just, I don't trust my 1X for transitions. It's like I want to have something fast. I can do my transition, snap back to whatever magnification I'll leave my LPVO set on. Or in the case of like your Minecraft setting, you know, you leave your LPVO on 6X or 8X, whatever your max is. You flip to your side for room clearing, and then next time you need to reach out to distance, you just straighten the rifle back out and you're at your 6 or 8X. Which is faster than using your throw lever.
Right. Well, yeah, because there's no, like, you don't have to take your either hand off your weapon to do this. Like, if you're going to switch up here, you have to, like, manipulate and stuff. But having it already mounted on there gives you, like, a lot more speed. Either way, if you're, like, you know, turkeying it, like...
Which takes a lot of getting used to.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it has taken some time for me to get used to going from essentially a chin hold back to my cheek hold.
Right.
But the reason I decided against doing a side is because I eventually want to go the route of night vision.
Right. For Minecraft.
For Minecraft purposes. Which is, you know, perfect for a piggyback red dot.
Yeah.
Because good luck getting your nods behind an LPVO.
Yeah.
Float that thing way out.
There's not enough eye relief for that.
There is not enough eye relief.
Yeah.
But, you know, for passive aiming, which eventually I'd like to put a laser aiming module on here too so that I can have active and passive. But in Minecraft, if your opponent also has nods, you don't exactly want to use a laser aiming module.
Right. Yeah,
because what you see, they see too.
Right. It's kind of like a flashlight. It points both ways, so just be careful how you use it.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you see it, they see it. But with having a piggybacked for passive aiming, that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because if you have enough light to not need your laser aiming module, you're good to go. You have a dot.
So, yeah, and, you know, even like we were saying, competition scenarios, like if you are doing like a 2-gun competition, 3-gun, whatever, like having that true one-time magnification or basically no magnification. Like if you're looking at the stage and all right, well, I have these targets to engage close up, and then there's a further one out. Like you can go ahead and preset, if you know your rifle, to whatever magnification with your LPVO, right. Rock on with the red dot, transition to your LPVO, take the shot. It's a lot quicker than, adjusting your LPVO mid-stage.
Right.
Or setting it on some sort of in-between magnification that you can do both, but it's not really good for both, and, that sort of thing. Right. So it just really sort of takes your LPVO to the next level and your setup in general to the next level. It's a little bit more expensive to do it that way, obviously, because you got to buy a red dot and you got to have it mounted, but is it worth it? I would assume yes. I don't have it done.
I will say if you're the kind of person that paints their rifle and wants to buy nods, it probably is worth it. Outside of that, outside of the competition world, it's a redundancy.
Yeah.
No two ways around it. I mean, because with an LPVO, you do have a 1X.
Yeah.
And if you have a good LPVO, which we kind of talked on this last week.
We did.
If you have a good LPVO, your 1X means you can keep both eyes open without feeling like you're in a fishbowl. So having a red dot mounted side or piggybacked, it is definitely a redundancy. But if that's what you need, like this is a very special purpose rifle.
Yeah.
This is not a general purpose rifle by any means of the imagination. So in this case, yeah, I needed a piggybacked red dot.
Right.
Because what I built this rifle for is the kind of thing that requires an LPVO, which is also, a specific use scenario, and a piggybacked red dot. But once again, you like in this kind of situation, don't just go out and buy an LPVO with a red dot. Like, you need to know what your needs are.
Yeah.
Which is what we talked about with our first series on like why to custom build versus buy stock.
And that's kind of like the one thing besides training with your rifle that we'll harp on again and again is like know what the rifle is for, why you're building it a certain way or having it built a certain way. Like there are rifles that you can build that will do a lot of different things, but it's kind of like the LPVO. Like it's not going to do everything.
Right.
So what's your specific use? Why might you need it? Build it for that purpose.
Yeah. And this is definitely not a combination that I would recommend to a beginner.
No.
Because it pigeonholes you into a very specific use scenario.
Right. Yeah, I think like for beginners, just an LPVO is a solid recommendation.
Or just a red dot.
All right, yeah, that's a red dot.
Yeah.
Solid recommendation because, the red dot, it's going to be less expensive than some of your other options. It'll get you used to running the rifle, and then if you decide that you need like the LPVO capabilities, you can move up to that, and then you can put your red dot on the next one you build.
Exactly,
because you never need just one.
Never gonna just have one.
Yes, it's kind of like tattoos. Like once you get while you're getting your most recent one, you're thinking about what you're getting next. So
I can
attest to that.
I can attest to that one.
I mean,
yeah,
here we are.
I have some catching up to do.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We all have to start. I have to catch up on this field because my rifles. Laz may be Gucci, but you're more Gucci than I am. You're at least Target, and I'm Walmart. So
I'll take that.
Yeah, I've got the Streamlight. You got the Cloud Defensive. So
I'll be your Bud Light to your PBR.
Don't be Bud Light.
When you said Target. So.
That was true. Target is more like it. But anyway, we have to cut that out.
Do we?
Fine. Nah, it's good. It's good.
It's fine.
It's good. But yeah, and like in this setup, red dot makes complete sense. If you're not thinking about making quick transitions, then okay, you probably don't need a red dot. But if you want that capability or need that capability, I mean, red dot and LPVO is the way to go.
Right.
So and the I will say this. So I got that Burris pepper mount for my rifle, and it came with two different top ring options. One of them was just the smooth. One of them had the Picatinny mount. I went with the Picatinny mount because ultimately I plan to top mount a red dot. And if you're going to do that, you know, get with the Picatinny, because you can always give yourself options.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's the thing I like is options. Like I may not ever put a red dot on there, but I can if I need to.
But you can.
I'm not going to pigeonhole myself into this spot where I've got this very specific setup that cannot allow any sort of modifications because things are fluid.
Right.
So.
No, and I think that if you know your scenario that you're going to be using your rifle in, and you feel like, yeah, LPVO with a red dot might suit my purposes, full send. Go for it.
Go for it.
Something else to take into consideration is the side versus piggybacked.
Okay.
T-Rex Arms, Lucas Bodkin has some amazing videos talking about this because he does not like the piggybacked mount.
Okay.
He much prefers the side mount, the canted, and I understand that because if you're going for speed, that is much faster. Because if you know the zombies are coming, and I just have to go from this to this, that is instant. You don't have to move your cheek. Everything stays the same. Whereas if I go from here to here, it's not as fast. It can be fast. You can get fast with it. I've practiced. I've put hours behind it. And I feel like I'm decently quick in my transition.
Yeah.
But it's still faster to cant.
Right.
So once again, if you are going to do a LPVO and a red dot, if you're going for speed, don't do a piggyback.
Yeah.
Unless your thought process is, like in my case, night vision.
Right. Well, there's and you know, to speak to that, there is a difference between changing your field of view, between changing something in your field of view.
Right.
So, like, if you're just like transitioning something else, because you're the main, like when you're aiming, getting on target, you want to see your target first, then you want to move your sight or optic into your sight picture. Right. So you're like here, there, like you didn't move at all, but now you're going to have to readjust. Makes sense for speed purposes.
Yeah.
However, if you're going to have like nods hanging out, like
your point of like you're already going to be shouldering.
Yeah.
You might not even have a cheek weld
right.
if you have night vision on. And so you're kind of hovering behind your red dot anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. So, and that's, main purpose, but you can get faster in any setup.
Right.
And the point is just to be faster than you were yesterday and faster than the other guy in Minecraft.
Something else to take into consideration too, height over bore. Oh my goodness, does it make a difference?
And you're going to get a debate on that, I'm sure.
Man, I know. But when you're dealing with the new common thing, the new popular thing with red dots is to have like a 1.9, I think it is, almost a 2-inch rise over height over bore. That's significant.
Yeah.
And you need to understand the difference in your holdovers. Because at 200, 300, 400, 600 yards, your holdovers are wildly different than they would be with a traditional, 1.5? I think is the traditional rise. That is 4.5 inches height over bore.
Yeah. It's going to make a difference for sure.
It makes a world of difference. And so you can't sight that in the same way. Like you need to understand even at a greater extent, okay, I'm going to sight in at 70 yards because when I sighted at 70 yards, my 25 yard, my 50 yard, my 75 yard, my 100, and my 200 yard all stay within this roughly closely packed area. There's a video I watched that explains this very well, and if I remember, I will link it in the description below or maybe up in the corner. Somewhere. Because he explains it far better than I could ever explain it. There's a lot of math behind this.
Right.
And that is not something you have to worry about if you do a side-mounted red dot. But if you have a piggybacked, it matters so stinking much.
Significant.
Yeah.
So,
which is another reason to, unless your purpose drives you towards a piggyback red dot, I would stay away from it. I love mine. It's there for a reason. I've practiced. Like we were talking about.
Yep.
Spent time behind it. Done my transitions. Figured out my ranging. Otherwise, get a side mounted or just learn to flip your LPVO really fast.
Right. Yeah, get quick.
Yeah, get good. Because this whole setup, the LPVO and red dot, is not user friendly.
Yeah, it's not ergonomic.
No.
As they might say. You're going to have to figure out how to put yourself in a more uncomfortable position comfortably.
Right.
I'm going to say it that way.
And become proficient in being uncomfortable.
Yeah. So.
And then with price, kind of like what you hit on, you've got to take into consideration, you're adding on top of the price of your LPVO and your scope mount, you're adding the mount for your red dot,
right?
Which there's more companies now that do piggybacked or side mounted. There's a lot that do side mounted.
Yeah, side mounted I think is like ahead of the piggyback,
sure. But then you've got to get a red dot that
right. And I mean you can it's the same gamut of red dots that we talked about earlier, but it's gonna be like anywhere from primary arms to Trigicon. Like right. Daniel put a Trigicon on his, though of course the Trigicon he put on was the MRO. It's not going to be what you want to mount. You're going to like something you're going to put smaller. On. That's something we should probably say is like you're going to put something on there like almost like you would put on a pistol.
Yes.
Like you're not going to put a Romeo 5 or a Trigicon MRO side mounted
heavy enough.
Side mounted or piggybacked onto your optic. You're going to put something more like you would put on a pistol, and which in this case is a Holosun.
This is the 509T.
509T, which is I've actually sourced a lot of those for several different people.
If you haven't watched the Sage Dynamics video about the 509T,
check it out.
Wait until this video is over. And then go watch
finish this one. Yeah, we need you to finish this one.
But that video is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. That is a rugged optic. And he is one of many people who have become incredibly impressed by the 509T.
Yeah, durability, I mean, is something you want to look at with any optic. But especially if you're, because you want to think about this, like your backup optic should be just as durable as your primary optic. This is not, it's not a backup per se, it's like a dual use type thing, but it could become a backup very quickly. And whatever your secondary, maybe I should say secondary optic would be, needs to be just as durable as your primary. You don't want to buy a Strike Eagle or whatever LPVO and then go to Walmart or Amazon and get your secondary optic, because you could destroy your primary and secondary in the one fell swoop. But if you had a more rugged one, your primary may get messed up, but your secondary is still good to go. So durability, I'm all about being price conscious, because everybody's got families and everybody's got priorities, but get something that's going to be durable to go on your rifle. Mm-hmm. Don't get something that's going to be like jacked up just through the act of shooting.
Yeah,
like I did.
Especially, well, and especially if this is your mindset. Like if you're trying to go more towards the shit hit the fan kind of build.
Yeah.
Like save money where you can. Yes,
for sure.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And do you need the Trijicon RMR on top of your LPVO? That's a Steiner or a Night Force. Sorry, Laz. No, you really don't.
No,
you really don't.
Holosun does it.
Holosun does it. The Strike Eagle does it. But make sure that you're meeting those minimum requirements of what I'm getting works, and it works well, and it's tough, and it's durable, it's rugged.
Right. And I mean, because, for instance, I could take an Anderson lower and upper receiver, do just a slight bit of work, put in a good barrel, and I'd have just as good an AR as if I bought, a more expensive upper and lower receiver. Right.
Do I even dare say it?
Say
Radian.
It. Radian.
Or Noveski.
Sheesh. For the Gen Z people out there. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously there are going to be uppers and lowers that are not as high quality. However, you can save money on that part that is housing the really important parts or holding the really important parts and still do just as well as if you were going to buy a Gucci gun from Q. Laz.
Hey, maybe you should come into a video and defend yourself.
Yeah, that'd be great. You can tell us why. You can tell us why you buy that shit.
Yeah. Still not as mean as what Luke said about him.
Oh, still not. No. Yeah.
That was rough.
He said something. I was trying to talk about T-Rex arms, and anyway.
Yeah. But I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
For the LPVO with a red dot, piggybacked or side mounted, like, just know if that's your scenario that you need that use, full send. Go for it. Awesome. That's great. But it is a redundancy.
Right. It is a redundancy. Get good with what you got, then progress further.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for tuning in again to the Booth Customs channel. Like, subscribe, share it, and let YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook and all the other people know that the two-way guys are still out here. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.